Let's talk about rate of micron decay. So I just turned this off about 45 seconds ago by the time I opened up this camera. And we're watching the micron actually go down after I've closed it off. This is a steadying effect because there's a harmonics, a pulsation effect that takes place. You can actually pick up, there's two things going on. One is you have different pressures by where your hoses are under low pressure, high pressure, and it's like water sloshing and steadying out. Another one is when you have it open up to your pump, there's a pulsation and there's actually interference from the pump to the micron gauge that affects the reading, and it goes down after you shut it off. And sometimes on certain pumps you can actually see when you turn your pump on, it'll go up to 1400 microns. You turn it off and it goes down to 700 microns almost instantly. You could play with different pumps. Since I have many different pumps, I get to experiment. But so here you go, you see it going down. It's like there's no leak, right? But we know this case sometimes leaks under pressure, and when the case expands out, the metal gets hot and the four pistons are compressing out on that shell, and the shell pulsates, but the rubber O-ring is no longer flexible. So the rubber does not flex with the pulsation of the case. The rubber stays down here. The case flexes up, and the case comes up like this and spurts out refrigerant under pressure when it gets hot. So let's see what happens. And like you see, when I get a virgin unmolested vehicle that hasn't been touched by anyone and it's still original, and one of the ones with 15,000 miles on it, 20,000 miles, it had original R12 in it. It still has mineral oil in it. Never been open to the atmosphere. I've gotten many of them where I could go down to 100 microns like that, and it'll hold under 300, 400, 500 microns with no problem at all, being 20 or 30 or 40 years old. But once somebody else retrofitted it over and to R134, and they put POE oil in here, or PAG oil, depends what they use. They don't always use POE. And it's been open to the atmosphere. They had dirty or wet recycled gas, their hoses, contamination, they don't evacuate it right. When I get it, I can no longer pull it down to 100 microns because the POE or the PAG holds so much more moisture in it, I cannot get rid of it like I normally would with mineral oil. So I'm gonna fill this up. Let's see what happens. I'll be back. And on that one, I found out a little more story. He owns 3 Hummers, and one of his other Hummers has a turbocharger on it. So he's a Hummer fan, and those are the real Hummers, not the fake H3. All right.